Go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you could please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
To the
Republic,
For which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, liberty,
and justice for all. Thank you. That was delayed much more than last time. So, Mr. Houston, if you go ahead and take the roll, please.
Mrs. Reed,
Here.
Mr. Stubbs. Here. And Mr. Burns.
Here.
Everyone's present.
All right. Next on the agenda is visitor comments. Do you have any visitor comments for this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to make one. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I had talked to Jake about this. Is there some way to not turn off all the visitor voices so that if we have a question during the meeting, we can ask it? Because right now, once Haley turns, like last meeting when they turned all the visitors' microphones off, we had no way of asking them a question.
Is there a way, Haley, to raise a hand?
Yeah. Are you able to do a raise your hand option on your device?
I do not know. I didn't see it.
People want to comment, they need to mute the mic until they have a comment. Then they can unmute themselves.
I'm sorry, Jake. I wasn't able to hear you.
If visitors would like to comment, they should mute their own mic, and then they can unmute it if they have a question at any point in the meeting.
That is also true.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. So, right. So the reason that I mute everybody other than the board members, because there's sometimes is background noise, and when multiple people have just a little bit of background noise, it can jumble things up really bad. So that's why I mute. So I can mute it, and then if you have something to say, just unmute yourself and speak up. If that works.
So we have some input as far as questions.
Right.
All right, so are you gonna mute everybody, or are you just wanting us to mute ourselves and then if unmute if you want to talk?
I'll go ahead and mute everybody, and then if you have a question or a comment, unmute. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and then just speak up if that's okay with the board members.
Absolutely.
usually though, don't they have, we have citizen forum for when they need to talk?
Well, that's what this is right now, is visitor comments. But if you,
Right.
I mean, normally in the trustee meetings, we allow open meetings where visitors can make comments anytime, if they have a question.
Absolutely.
Right. And then, of course, the first time a visitor comments, which you did, you have to state your name and address. And then anytime after that, you just have to state your name. Just like before.
Okay.
So does the visitors unmuting themselves if they have something work for you guys?
That's fine.
Yes, that works.
Okay.
Are there any other visitor comments, concerns? I don't see anyone else unmuting. It's kind of hard for me to gauge that. All right.
Yeah, I can see everybody on the side of my screen, and not, there's only a couple people muted right now.
Sure, I'm not leaving anybody out. All right, with that, if there's no visitor comments, no other visitor comments, I'll move along to Mr. Houston.
I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Me too. I am as well.
Lynn's on.
Okay, it's quiet now. Okay, everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Tonight we have two sets of minutes to approve. The special meeting of February 27th. The last regular meeting we held a month ago using WebEx on April 13th.
Right.
Changes or corrections to either minute.
I'm sorry, Jake. We couldn't. At least I can't. I could not understand you. I hope it's not just me, by the way.
It's not.
I will make the motion to approve both sets of minutes as submitted.
Is there a second?
I looked over them, and I believe they are. They're fine, and I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's for both sets of minutes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And the first set was prepared by Mr. Keener, and of course, the ones last month were prepared by me. All right, I have given you the normal financial reports. You have a fund status report as of April 30. You have the cash summary by fund for the 4 months ending April 30. And you have the payment listings for the month of April. If I could get if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, if I could get a motion to at least approve the payments and the financial reports.
I make a motion to approve the payment and the financial report.
I will second that.
That includes payroll.
That would include payroll, all of the withholdings, the normal warrants, and all the other electronic vouchers that were prepared.
Perfect.
Warrants 5,015 through 50,015 through 50,069, and vouchers 172 all the way through 264. So we have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The only other thing I had on my list, I believe we're going to take up later with Mr. Stubbs when we do the resolution. So I'll leave that for later.
All right.
My report.
Thank you, Mr. Houston. I believe Chief Anzik is up next. You're muted, Chief. I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
I can never tell which button's which. It just turns color. I thought I was muted before, and then I unmuted. Anyways, the only thing I have is we had our shred day last Saturday, first Saturday of May. It was our biggest shred yet as far as weight. It was over 7,000 pounds. I think our previous record was like 6,800. Thank you to everybody that came out. It went really well. We social distanced. The officers wore masks. People would pull in their cars. If they had pills, they stopped at one point. If they had shred, they pulled up to another point. The officers unloaded it. They would just pop their trunk or wherever they kept it, the officer would remove it, put it straight into a trash can, over to the shred truck, and it was done. So it went really well. But I wanted to thank all the officers for working that day and making it a success, and the people that showed up to make it a success as well. So that's all I have.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, Chief. How's your officer that got that was off on injury?
He's still off. But I think he's supposed to come back this Thursday.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Holbrook.
I have no report this evening.
Mr. Holbrook, I want to apologize. I spelled your name wrong on the agenda, so I will fix it for our next agenda meeting. I had 2 L's in your last name, so I apologize.
All right.
Do you have any update on the truck? Do you know anything about that?
The manufacturing has been pushed back a little bit because of the pandemic.
Yes.
Have not heard of a build date. I would imagine it's still going to be in late June or early July, but I have not heard anything about that yet. I know the body manufacturers are running way behind now because of manufacturing. That kind of hit them a little harder than truck manufacturing. But as soon as I know something, I'll be sure to let the board know.
All right. Thank you. Haley. You're muted, Haley. We can't hear you. We're supposed to be the one helping us out with technology here.
I know. All right. So I know I ask you guys this every month, but I just feel like I probably should, since it's still, pending and stuff. For the proposed fee schedule changes, do you guys have any questions about those at all?
I do not. Nothing has changed since you showed them to us, correct? Okay.
No, yeah, so the same. And then let's see, I've written a few permits, barn on EB Road, fence on Batter Street, and a pole barn on Dayton Germantown Pike. And then the zoning commission will be having a meeting via WebEx tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. So if anybody is interested in that, I can send out that information as well. And that's all that I have.
All right. Thank you,
Hey,
Haley.
Yeah.
Haley,
Yeah.
those people on EB Road that bought that little area right up there on the pull off, just wanting to put a school in or a business in or something like that.
Yep.
Two things. Are they looking at putting a range in there? And the next thing is are they living there?
They are not living there. And one of the ideas that they do have for the property is to put a range there at the bottom of the hill.
How many acres is that?
3.5.
Okay.
Or something close to that. So there was 3 parcels and 2 of them are now combined, I guess. So they've got a third one there. I don't know. But they're just in the process of it. They're getting it cleaned, the property cleaned up and everything. And they're going to start the process on, hopefully they're going to ask, they're going to ask for the zoning to be changed because they would have to put the business there. And then.
Isn't there a camper there?
There is a camper there.
Yeah, because that Dodge is always there. I just wondered if they were staying there.
No, there's nothing inside. That barn's just empty. And as far as I know, that camper's not hooked up to anything. So when they're out there working, they're basically using it as a shelter to go in and eat lunch and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I was just wondering on that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. I believe I am up next. The only things that I had for my report, we will say, is I hopefully, as long as the pandemic, continues going better, I hope to be out of town for our June 8th meeting. And I was hoping that we could possibly move it up a week. As long as we don't have any objections. That would be, I believe, June 1st. Is there any objections or discussion about that? Except right now for June. I'm sorry, Jake, I couldn't hear you again.
We don't typically move the meeting dates. They've already been advertised for the entire year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say if they were going to be moved, maybe we should look at advertising it at least 2 weeks in the paper if we can.
I mean, we don't have to. It's just I'm not going to be there.
I'm not opposed.
I hope to be in North Carolina. But obviously we don't know what the future holds right now with all this stuff. But that way I could attend.
We should be able to meet in person next month. Shopping malls are opening tomorrow.
Well, I'm not opposed to having it on June 1st. Whatever.
We've never moved a meeting since I've been here other than for a holiday.
Mr. Houston, just out of curiosity, is it, you are the one that advertises the meetings. Is it a lot of work? Do you see that as being a struggle? If we would move the meeting up a week?
For these last two meetings, which have been done using WebEx, I have simply sent out emails to the Germantown Press and to our most interested citizens, and then posted something on the door. But Haley, I heard, has suggested that we, in this case, if we change the date, that we probably want to put that in the Germantown Press. So there's a little bit of an expense there that we would have to incur.
Yes. Do we, or would that interfere with other meetings that the township already has? Zoning meetings or?
It would not interfere anything with zoning.
Any other?
So, and the other thing is we would have to have it to the lady that processes the ads by this Friday. If we had it to her by this Friday, she would be able to put it in next Thursday's paper.
We're just changing meeting dates on a whim now. This is ridiculous.
Just thought it would be nice if we could just adjust it so that I could attend. You know, if it only would be.
June meeting before.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't believe you've ever been to a June meeting before.
Normally July's that I miss, but it was just
on WebEx. What does it matter? It's hard to say if you prefer doing these meetings.
If we, well, my fear with doing it, and even if we still do it on WebEx, is my understanding of where I'm going, there's not internet access. So I don't want to guarantee I would be available to do it on the internet. The people that I've talked to there told me I will not have cell phone service or internet access, which would be hard if we did it on WebEx if I didn't have internet. So
I'm in favor of leaving it as the same date because it's that way all the time. It's the second Monday of every month. It has been for at least 7 years. You have people that plan their schedules around it. So.
All right, while we're on the topic of meetings, future meetings, and I emailed Mr. Peterson about the possibility of a WebEx meeting this month. He suggested that we discuss future meetings this evening. I did reach out to the other townships around us to see what they are doing. The ones that were meeting, the ones I should say that I got back to, which was 4 of them, that were actually meeting in person. 4 others that I spoke to were meeting virtually like we are, but the ones that were meeting in person had someone at the door taking their temperature, asking the medical questions, and had the ambulance on standby for people that had a temperature, as well as making everyone wear a mask. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know what the future holds, but it's Mr. Peterson suggested that we at least discuss it at this meeting about what June meeting would look like so that people can plan.
Well, for one thing, if the governor still has no more than 10 people, then I'm not for having an in-person meeting. You cannot just say 2 people, 3 people can come in and then lock the rest out. This way here, it's equal across the board to where they can get online and listen or get on the phone. So as far as it's up to the governor, as far as that, I know we're on lockdown until May 29th. But if there's a 10 people max, I am not for having an in-person meeting because then that only allows a certain few people in and not everybody, and it is not fair.
I was trying to keep track, and I think in this meeting we had 14 at one point, which would mean we would have had to tell 4 people that they were not able to attend. So, I mean, we don't know what
they're opening malls, they're opening restaurants. I mean, we should be able to have a meeting. Township meeting tonight.
Jake, if the governor's got a 10-person max, then it's a 10-person max.
We don't typically have 10 people at our meetings, but
There's
We're
14
also-
today?
So I am not sure if we want to go ahead and decide on our June meeting now to do it through WebEx or to do it in person, or we want to make some criteria as if the governor still has a 10-person limit, then we would do it using WebEx. If we want to come up with some criteria of how we decide what is the best way for us to meet so that everyone,
We could be like Preble County, declare ourselves essential and do it how we need to do it. This has run its course. So,
okay.
I am for doing what the governor says, and that's exactly where I'll stand. If he says 10 people max, it's 10 people max.
why don't we cancel the June meeting? Jackson Township canceled their last month's meeting. Unless there's
Why
some.
would we differ from our schedule, Jake?
I'm just throwing a suggestion out there, Mr. Burns.
Can I just make a comment? Mark Cross.
Mr. Cross.
I'm not sure if it's the 10-person or, and I think it's the half of what the fire department says is the limit to the room. I don't think it's because again, retail stores are opening. I'm not sure if it's 10-person.
Our capacity of the township building is 92 people in the meeting room.
Yeah, so it'd be half of that. I'm almost sure.
There's still a 6-foot distance between each other on safe distancing.
Yeah, and
So I don't think you're going to get 45 people in there in a safe 6-foot area. If you want to do a WebEx, we'll do a WebEx. If we want to, cancel what Jake wants to do, that's fine. But until we figure out what the mayor or what the governor's wanting to do, and after May 29th, I'm for doing exactly what he says. He's our governor.
The other places that have chosen to do it in person put some protocols in place. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm qualified to be the one sitting at the door and taking the temperature and asking the medical questions.
Jackson Township is taking people's temperature tonight.
I don't know if they are. I have 4 other townships that I know are. I did not. Well, there are 4 townships. I reached out. There was 8 of them. 4 of them chose to do it in person, doing those protocols, and 4 of them chose to do it online. So I am not, Jackson Township was not one of those 8 townships. So
I think Jackson
sure.
did meet.
Yes, I think Jackson met in person. I just don't know if they followed those protocols, I think was Jake's question. And I don't know. I don't know that answer. I know Harrison, Butler, Miami, and Washington have all went to web meetings. So, and then it's kind of a long message, but there was 4 of them also that went to those protocols. I'm not sure if we can do those, and I would like everyone to feel safe coming to the meetings, and I am not sure about Mark Cross's statement of if it's half of the room. I have always heard 10 people.
10 people.
Even if we do the 6 feet distance, I don't know how many people we could fit in that room if we have a 6-foot radius around them.
Walmart can only have 10 people in the store at a time.
We're not Walmart.
Yeah, but you're saying 10 people total in every circumstance.
They're not congregating there. They're shopping there, Jake. They're not going to a meeting.
So would we like to?
I think we should plan on being in person. And if we have nothing to discuss like Jackson did last month, just skip a month.
Okay, so we don't want to move it up so that we stay on the schedule that we've already printed.
Correct.
But maybe we'll just cancel because but we might meet in person. Is that where you stand
Meet
at,
in
Jake?
person. I'm the one saying we should meet in person. We realize that, right? We should meet in person. We should have met in person today. So,
The bottom line is they got that order out. We're going to stand by that. I'm going to stand by that order. And until May 29th, if you're asking me, I'd say go virtual right now until May 29th, until the governor, if he opens up everything and says go, do it. I mean, he's having meetings almost every day. But he
Yes.
still has that 10 person.
So I guess my feeling is, as long as there are limitations to how many people can come into a room, I don't feel like I can say that one citizen's
currently
feelings,
our room is limited to 92 people.
that I can say that one person's feelings or citizens' rights are more justified than another's. So that's going to be hard for me to turn away number 11, 12, 13, and 14 if the 10-person rule is still there. Or how do I make them keep the 6-foot distance? How do we?
Properly. You have no idea what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, this would all be, I would leave the meeting alone, and if we have to adjust it down the road, we have to adjust it.
Okay, when I was asked to email the attorney to make sure that we should be meeting virtually, he suggested that we make that decision at this meeting, or we at least discuss it. So I was taking the lead from the attorney who suggested that we discuss it. So that's what I thought was best for us to do. Because that way we kind of know moving forward what we should do. I guess what I'm getting is, Jake, you would like to meet in person if at all possible.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Burns would like to follow the governor's, whatever his guidelines are.
That is correct.
Okay. All right.
Right now, it's 10 foot.
I obviously am for whatever is safest for the citizens, and I don't want to expose anyone inadvertently to anything. So I am for the virtual meetings as long as the governor is suggesting and making those regulations and the recommendations. So as long as we kind of, I guess, know where everybody stands is what the attorney suggested that we do, and we'll see what the governor does moving forward as far as restrictions and regulations.
If he opens it up, I have no problem with a person meeting. But if he
in-person.
doesn't open it up, I do.
Okay. All right. Does that sound good, Mr. Stubbs?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. I have one last thing. At our last meeting, Mr. Cross asked me about the JED, and I did not have an update. So that's what I thought your question was going to be this evening, was about the JED since the levy passed. So I reached out to Mr. Wofsik, who has been kind of critical and crucial in making this JED, or working on this JED. And I touched base with him yesterday. And he had mentioned that he had a meeting with Mr. Stubbs, and I was kind of hoping maybe he could fill us in if you're able to, Jake. Because you were able to meet with the attorney, he said. Can you give us, is there any insight that, I mean, the public is here, obviously, but is there any insight or new information?
What is it, each entity's contribution was discussed priorly. Germantown had offered $5,000 for your, I believe he had, not me, someone, other people had offered police service for traffic control for fraternity. So we came to an agreement that night that each entity will potentially submit $1,500. And the $1,250 will go to the attorney fees.
Can anybody hear Jake?
It's kind of muffled.
Hey, Jake.
I have no idea why. Why I'm on the township guest Wi-Fi on a computer. This is why these meetings should not be virtual. This is ridiculous. Anyway, $1,500 to the JED, or to the $1,250 to the attorney fees, $250 to the JED. That is for all four entities. That pays for the lawyer and gives the judge a little bit of money and the to get started. Question is, what's the purpose of the JED? Because this is a stretch, and the lawyer every time to have this JED does not create economic development purpose. Instead, it takes money, moves it from the high school properties, that land, moves it to four entities, which isn't the general purpose of it. So there needs to be some questions answered there. I propose that an SRO is paid for by the JED, that the first money to come out of the JED money is an SRO, because that benefits the school, it benefits the employees, people who are paying tax. I've got a few more things, but there's feedback right now. I'm looking at the top of Matt's head. We can go over it in person at the next.
Okay, I was unaware that you had a meeting with the attorney until I reached out to Brian yesterday, and I just thought that since you actually have to see the attorney, that you would have a better understanding of what was said. And so things were agreed upon about the JED at that meeting?
No, general direction to go for the 57% is not going to happen. It's not realistic for Germantown. So working on the split, never got to that. But yeah, progress was made. It's probably the most productive. And again, I'll have more when we meet in person.
Abra, I thought you were over the JED going to these meetings.
Well, I had met with I met with Brian and or Mr. Wofsik and Mr. Dowden and the attorney to begin with. That's why I wanted to reach out, because I thought Mr. Cross would have a question and I wanted to have an answer for him today. So I reached out to Mr. Wofsik yesterday, and he said that Jake had reached out to him wanting a meeting with the attorney, and so I thought, well, Mr. Wofsik.
That is absolutely not. Brian called me and set up a meeting with Jackson Township and the mayor of Farmersville.
Were they all able to attend?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. I hope some progress was made and some things were hashed out in that meeting so that we can do whatever's best for the township. But we will see. I look forward to what you have for us. I think I interrupted someone.
Yeah. Are you going to be doing it, or is Jake? Because both of you can't go to the same meetings.
It was an informal meeting to discuss the progress of the JED. It's not. I'm not sure why this is a big deal.
Well, I just didn't know. I thought Abra was over that because I thought you said that you felt it was a conflict of interest, and then.
You were at the meeting when the attorney said that I could participate.
Right, but you said that
therefore,
Abra said that she was taking we all said Abra was taking the lead on that to go to that.
Brian Wofsik called me. I did not call Brian Wofsik.
That's cool. I just didn't know. I mean, what we don't want is both of you ending up at the same meeting, because that wouldn't be good as far as for both trustees being at the same meeting on something like that. That's all. I mean, as long as there's communications, I don't care.
Mr. Stubbs, do you know if there's another meeting or anything upcoming about that?
We did not schedule another meeting.
Okay. Mr. Wofsik did tell me that he believes there's a draft possibly coming out of that. He wasn't.
I have not received it yet.
Okay. He was not sure when that was going to be coming out. So hopefully we get that before too long, and we'll be able to, I guess, learn more about the JED and what all's in it. So.
Hold on. I believe this should be done before the school year starts.
Okay.
So this should be done. They're going to do it. It needs to be done. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. All right. That is everything that I have. So, Mr. Stubbs, I believe you're up next.
All oversight meetings have been canceled. I look forward to having Brian Dugal on the cemetery meeting, cemetery board. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Mr. Burns, I believe you're up next, sir.
Yeah, the only thing I have is I know Jake wants to do this probably in person, and I can see that too as well. Or if we got to do a virtual meeting next month, maybe we ought to be looking at what all Haley's has presented and try to come up with some type of solution on that as far as to pass for the zoning. But it's something that probably does need to be discussed between, Abra and Jake and I on that. I don't know. Have you had a chance to look at it, Jake?
It's what she submitted several months ago. Yes.
Right.
And I said last month that I think it needs to be done in person, and I stand by that tonight.
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I think it should be done in person whenever we meet again in person. It's not urgent, it's not essential. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's all I've got. And that's what I said earlier is you want to do it in person. I'm okay with that as long as, everybody willing to wait on this. If there's anything that needs to be taken back, I think we need a work session on it. If there's something that needs to be taken back, that's all. That ends everything I got to say.
Raising my hand.
Oh, Mrs. Chief, Anthony. Sorry, I did not see your hand up. I should see that. I'm a teacher.
Mr. Stubbs, do you have a resolution?
Yeah.
I do. Sorry. Got me all.
All right.
Keep that constantly. Thank you for the reminder. Mr. Houston, is that correct? It's number 11.
11.
Okay. I would like to introduce resolution 2020-11, resolution to recognize and show appreciation to all present and former German Township police officers and employees, contributions and dedication to the betterment of the German Township community.
I second that. Hello?
Somebody read that because we couldn't really hear what Jake was saying.
Oh, I have it here. Just I can read it. Well,
You want me to read it, Mrs. Freed?
I got it.
yes, you can. I have it as well, but if you have it, go ahead.
A resolution to recognize. Mr. Burns, don't keep moving your phone. That's the feedback we're getting.
What is it?
Every time you move your phone, we get noise.
There, how's that?
Don't move it. That's good. A resolution to recognize and show appreciation to all present and former German Township police officers and employees for their contributions and dedication to the betterment of the German Township community. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Police Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as Police Week, and whereas the members of the German Township Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of the unincorporated portion of German Township, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And now, therefore, the German Township Board of Trustees, Montgomery County, hereby resolves, Section 1, that the German Township Board of Trustees will commemorate the sacrifice of America's peace officers by recognizing May 15th, recognizing May 15th in German Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, as Peace Officers Memorial Day, in accordance with Resolution 96-24 excuse me, and fly the township flag at half-staff in their honor on that day. And section 2, that the German Township Board of Trustees thank and recognize the hard work and commitment of the employees of the German Township Police Department in their continued efforts to serve this community with integrity, dedication, and honor. That is the resolution. Mrs. Reed.
I second it.
Thank you. Mrs. Reed, oh, any discussion?
Thank you for reading that.
You're welcome. Mrs. Reed, your vote.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Stubbs
Yes.
and Mr. Burns.
Yes.
All in favor. The resolution has been adopted.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other new business that we need to discuss this evening? Old business?
Mark Cross, could I just add one more question? Hey, Jake, is there any discussion as far as giving another $1,000 to Sunshine in a Bag? As we had discussed that a little bit, and I think they are doing some stuff while school is out.
Again, I have that on my list of things. I would prefer to do that in person, but if we want to do that tonight, we can. Sunshine in the Bag is doing extra. Stop moving the phone. I mean, okay. Sunshine in the Bag is doing extra because of the pandemic. And they could use the extra funding. There we go. I will introduce the resolution to give that because we set aside an extra $1,000 for Sunshine in a Bag. So I'll introduce a resolution to provide the additional $1,000 to Sunshine in a Bag this year. We set it up to have the opportunity necessary, and I believe there is a need. So I'll introduce resolution 2020-12, a resolution to give another $1,000 out of the South Trust Sunshine in a Bag.
Is there a second to the motion to approve resolution 2020? Calling for a second.
Sunshine in a Bag.
Is there a second? Going once. Going twice.
All right. So I guess we'll tell the kids of Valley View that Matt and Abra have decided that they would rather do anything opposite of me than to do their job.
I think that we're waiting to do other things and pass other resolutions. I think that could wait until and I believe when we started this, when Mr. Cross started this and got kind of the ball rolling, that there was some discussion about even divvying it up and not giving all the $2,000 to the same organization all year. So I think that that's something, there could be other organizations in this community that also need it. And maybe it's something that we need to reach out and find out. If we have this, we've already given them $1,000. There's other organizations hurting as well that give to children.
That's a choice that you guys have made. We're in a pandemic. We set it up to give them additional resources. Please mute your phone or hold it still. We set it up to have the additional $1,000 available. And we specifically stated Sunshine in a Bag at the beginning of the year. And the purpose is they provide food to the kids of Valley View. And they are going through food because the kids can't get to school. And I know Valley View is providing as well, but Sunshine in a Bag continues to do their part. And if you two choose that, that's your choice. So it's set up to be, I can't think of a better time than to give the extra money that's available. You can't do anything else with it. It's specific to, and the attorney approved it because this is for Valley View kids. You can't use that money on anything else. Dr. Cross knows better than all of us. He did the research. So that's your choice.
I will call them one more time for a second. If not, the motion will die. Is there a second? The motion has died.
Unbelievable.
All right, is there any other old business? I think we already did new. We were at old, if I'm correct. Any other new or old, in case I missed something?
I have nothing.
Okay.
I do have one thing.
Yes, Mr. Burns.
I have not seen anything from Becky Wetzel. Isn't she the one that runs the Sunshine in a Bag? She has not come up and talked to anybody about this. We're just hearing
Not
this.
Becky Wetzel, it is Julie Smith.
Okay, well,
And it is Angie Smith.
well, maybe they ought to reach out to us, send something to us, and then at which point we can look at that and see what kind of money we have available, see where it's at. Jake, you know what the bottom line is? If we don't agree with everything you are, we're just terrible. And there's things that we don't know everything about, and we're trying to find out. But I'm getting tired of every time we say something, if it's not exactly what Jake wants a snap. Enough's enough, Jake.
No matter what I say, you guys oppose me. It doesn't matter.
That's not true. Did I not back you on the cruiser?
You send out a text message about how you want to hold the meetings. I respond, and then you two wait to see what I do, and then you do the opposite. So I'm fine with it. I'll continue doing it. That's fine. So
Okay,
just like
well,
this,
anyways, enough's enough with.
I don't know how you can justify not wanting to give the funds to the kids. It was already established.
Nobody
but
said nothing about not wanting to, Jake.
You can justify that however you want. There may be a letter to the editors.
Well, you seem to justify everything, Jake. So, all right,
Crazy.
I think we need to move on.
All right, is there any other new or old business?
Dr. Cross, do you have any comment on this?
I just say, when we researched this last year, Sunshine in a Bag was by far the best organization that we could contribute to because of the Fouts Fund itself. I think to not make that contribution when it is available is really poor judgment. And it is sad that decision cannot be made tonight, for lack of a second.
I'm not saying I'm opposed to giving them the extra $1,000. I just think that we need to be smart with our money and make sure,
Well, it is.
Like
it is.
Mr. Burns said.
It's not the township's money. It's money that was put in by the Fouts Fund, so it doesn't affect what the township does. They can't spend the money on any. Can't spend the money on anything else anyway.
I agree, but when the Fouts left that money, they put the township trustees in charge of that money. We are the stewards of that money. And so you did a fabulous, fabulous job researching it. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to giving it to Sunshine in a Bag, but I at least think that it needs to be looked into. And this is the first I've heard of it in this meeting. No one has from Sunshine in a Bag has reached out to to me. It doesn't sound like reached out to Mr. Burns either and asked for the money. Like, for example, I know they're not doing food on Fridays, right, at school like they used to. How are they giving out that food to the students?
They're delivering.
Go ahead, Jake. Yeah.
They are delivering it to the students.
Is that like they're delivering it to their homes?
I believe so.
At least someone's trying to help them.
So I was aware that the school was doing the food like through the bus, but I wasn't aware of them delivering the blessings in a bag to their homes. So I mean, personally, I just think I need to know more about something before I vote to spend $1,000 on it. I mean, I knew before exactly what the Sunshine in a Bag was doing when school was in session, and now I don't. And I think that I need to be knowledgeable about the way I spend $1,000. The way I vote to spend $1,000.
Ask her to research it.
Mrs. Cross, I am going to research it and look into that.
Good. By the next meeting or sooner?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mrs. Cross?
Next meeting or sooner? Because the kids do need to, there's a need out there right now because of this coronavirus.
Mrs. Presser, do you know what they're doing with the food?
No, but at least somebody is trying to get something to the children that need to eat. So, I mean, there's not a lot going on. So if you have time to research it and get back with us, that would be great.
So at this time, I can't vote on something I am not knowledgeable about. I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Sad.
All right, is there any?
Adjourned.
All right, second.
Sorry, who made the motion? And Amber, you seconded. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.